Thank you so much for joining me on the Career Coaching Corner. My name is Pat Roque. They call me the Rockstar Transformation Coach because my gift is helping you channel your inner rock star. And I have been receiving dozens of recommendations from LinkedIn folks, dozens of folks coming in literally every single day asking for help. And it's almost impossible to try to help everyone at the same time. So what I've decided to do is make this time available twice a month where we can help you in a group manage to get to the bottom of some of your most important questions. So if you have any questions, please feel free to type them into the chat. I will be keeping an eye on the chat room for you. And I am going to share some questions that we've been collecting during the course of the week. One of the most important questions that I'd like to tackle today is tied around credibility and around reputation. I have a client who is mid-level. He's been in his field at least 10 years and doing a good job, but having a really hard time moving up and trying to figure out if it's time to move up in his career or maybe move over. But at the end of the day, we were having a discussion about making sure that when someone compliments him on his great work, that we get that documented, that we have those recommendations. And here is why. Nothing beats the credibility of someone else talking about how awesome you are. It's one thing for you to be speaking about yourself, but quite frankly, doesn't that feel icky at times? It really does. So we're not looking to sound like we're boasting, but we do definitely deserve to be able to tell our story through the eyes of another person. We want our potential hiring manager, if you're looking for a job, or your potential collaborators or potential clients to understand the gifts that you bring and how they might feel when they work with you. So the magic is really in the sharing of your gifts and the storytelling that comes, again, not just from positioning ourselves. We're talking about personal branding, but getting to the bottom of it. Sometimes it's great to get a perspective from other people on why we rock, on why we're amazing, on why they appreciate us. Because if you think about it, even the folks that are just joining in the coaching session today, what made you raise your hand and want to participate? What challenges are you facing? And why would you think that I can help you? Well, one of the reasons that LinkedIn has decided to send so many folks my way is because I'm now a top recommended career leadership and executive coach right here on their own platform. And so I would like to share with you kind of a sneak peek behind the scenes on what that looks like and why it serves professional development so well. It's really, really important to do your best to tell your story in a way that's authentic, in a way that's connecting the dots for people. We want people on the other side to be able to imagine what it's like to work with you. So let me give you a few examples and let's go behind the scenes. So I'm looking at my own profile. I have a nice profile photo professionally done. Use the real estate up here at the top for something that's very important to you. And I actually used it to talk about tonight's Career Coaching Corner. And you can change that, which is awesome. But when you go down, so you're going to click on me and go down and see your profile. And this is the part that can be edited. Two of the things that I have going on here, one is that we're able to add video recommendations. So watch this. When you go up here in the top corner, click on the link. And now you can see my profile in the background. We wrote a killer summary. And now when you go here for media, external documents, photos, sites, videos, and such. So what happens is when someone has something great to say about you, I encourage you to do two things. send them a LinkedIn recommendation request and ask them if they wouldn't mind taking 2 to 5 minutes to take their iPhone or to get on Zoom and to go ahead and film a quick video recommendation for you. Because here's what happens when people speak in their own words, especially if they're willing to go on video for you. It just shows that they're exposing themselves, that they are not holding back, that they are now looking in the eyes of your potential audience, and they're connecting in an authentic way. So these wonderful folks have gone out of their way to share their comments. And so you can upload by adding the link. And here's all the supported formats, by the way. They really can handle most anything. You can put PDFs, you can have PowerPoints, they can accept JPEGs, GIFs, TIFFs. They can actually accept file size smaller than 300 megabyte or 120 megapixels. So it allows you to upload short videos, PDFs, and such. Yes, that was helpful. Let's go back just 1 second. Okay, so you can either upload the video or add the link right there, which is fabulous. It works really well. It's easy peasy to do. And then once you either click and upload or add a link, you hit save. And now when someone goes to your profile, they can actually click right on it. This is a YouTube video from Paul Abramson, one of my clients.
My name is Paul Abramson, and I'm a huge fan of Pat Roque. I've known Pat for about 10 years. I only became her client about 3 years ago. So my story is that after a successful 20-year run in the publishing business, my company got sold, and I was suddenly out of a job. And for the next 10 years, I literally had 5 jobs. I just could not get any traction with any one of them. Finally, I landed a job in the selling commercial solar energy systems, which is a very exciting and potentially lucrative opportunity. So I called up Pat, and I had known about Pat, and I'd known her, and I called her up and I said, Pat, I need you. I've got one chance here. This could be my last chance at stability and success, and I need your help. So working with Pat is one of the best professional decisions I ever made in my life. First, Pat listened to me. She listened to my story. She listened to what my challenges were.
So there's Paul, and he continues to go on and talk about it. Here's another one from Anna Etten. This one's a little shorter. I like to keep them 1 to 2 minutes.
I have to share what an incredible coach Pat Roque has been over the last couple of years. I had the pleasure of meeting her at a conference and knew almost immediately that I wanted to work with her. And I had the privilege to join one of her mastermind groups. This is such an incredible experience. Pat curates these groups of people with different backgrounds, different industries, different experiences of different generations and geographies, and brings people together to share ideas, to brainstorm together, and to engage and activate in a new way. I had really been struggling with that phase to activate some of my ideas for a couple of years, and the catalyst was an even more special experience, a 2-day retreat at Pat's place in Myrtle Beach. The views were amazing, the food was great, but the work that we accomplished was far beyond what I ever could have imagined, frankly.
So in any event, you'll see that it goes on and on. So have your video recommendations added right into your profile, and then go to the bottom, toggle down. Here is where you can see I've received 65, given 56. The difference is you can rearrange the order. Here is how you would ask for a recommendation. If you noticed that one of the smart things that happened is they gave the context of our relationship. You want people to understand when and how and why they worked with you. You want them to understand how they felt or where they were stuck or the problem that you solved. You want them to explain the transformation, the benefit that you brought, how you impacted their business, how you impacted your team, how you impacted their life, depending on what you do and your gifts. You want these recommendations to be heartfelt, to be authentic, and to have enough detail that someone new to you and new to your world can look and experience your gifts and actually stop for just a second and imagine, wow, I felt that way too. I've been stuck for a couple of years. I've been knowing it's time to move on. Things like that are some of the things a career coach would be hearing. So when you have a Paul or an Anna or Wendy or some other folks talking about it, they can explain in their own words what it feels like going from here where they were stuck or having a problem or a challenge or a new opportunity and needed help, and how working with you helped them move the needle faster, how you help them sleep better at night, how you help them save quantifiable time, money, aggravation. It really is about, where possible, quantifying. So Anna, for example, mentioned how she literally struggled for a few years tinkering around and contemplating what she wanted to do, but coming and working closely with me for 2 days in a VIP retreat was able to completely accelerate the focus, the clarity, the thought process, and to now be in activation mode. So moving the needle from 2 to 3 years of thinking about something to 48 hours, 2 days to put it into action is a complete game changer for her and maybe for other people. So someone can get the idea that, wow, I didn't realize that that kind of help existed. What are the things you bring to the table that change other people? How do they feel when they work with you? Here's someone, and again, these are just to give you some examples. Wendy participated in a program that we did last week, as a matter of fact, and we did a free Get It Done Day. She had come to a workshop of mine in the summer, last summer, and showed up again. She's been following on LinkedIn and showed up again. She took my soul searching career assessment and took the time to thank me, because now she's got a better vision of what is possible and getting a head start on being proactive. Part of what I like to help people do is to stop being reactive and feeling like they're always waiting for someone else to dictate their success or their next move, and putting you in charge of your success. So I think you will see a common theme over and over about discovering where to focus, to know that possibilities are endless. This is Dani Richards. She's an amazing photographer. We've worked together. We met through playing golf. She's heard me speak a jillion times. And now she's starting to work with me to fine tune and work on her personal branding. So in her words, the word confident, growing her business. And again, helping people at a crossroads in their career. It seems to be spots that for some reason we just resonate. So those lines are being said over and over. Here's Justin. He's a VP at Merrill Lynch Wealth Management. I spoke at an internal employee leadership event. What happened? What were they looking to accomplish? I was supposed to provide general information and background on intergenerational leadership skills and traits, but it became so much more. So he took the time to say thank you in a very detailed way. Here's someone else, and who's now a director at Gartner, who was able to almost double her salary and go to this fabulous new job, and to be able to document not only that my speaking in front of the group on leadership and diversity, but to actually help people create a roadmap to achieve goals and dreams. Here's Laura Riley talking about coaching, that I don't sit and watch the clock, that it's really making sure that it's focused on you. And it goes on and on. So I only take you through the detail because I want you to understand that you are amazing in what you do. I promise you, you are, or you would not be showing up today, paying attention and asking these important questions, right? So number one, when people compliment you, if they say it out loud, ask them. My coach just nudged me to start collecting more recommendations on LinkedIn. Do you mind if I drop you a note? I would love for you to be able to say that on LinkedIn. Here's partly why that's so important. Once they compliment you in public, LinkedIn is a public venue, right? You also have their name, their title, the relationship you had, their photo. So someone can click and go to, let's just say, Ann's. They can see how amazing she is, how prestigious her role is, how much of an influencer she is. She was an editor for AOL, for gosh sake. She's amazing. So the fact that someone that amazing took the time to compliment my work and now taking the words in context gives me extra credibility, and it gives you extra credibility. So here's another trick. You ready? When you have people give you recommendations that are now populating your profile, it saves someone a lot of time from having to make phone calls over and over and over to ask about you. So they can look and they can check out Wendy and Danielle and Justin and Ann and Laura and Christina and Diana, etc. And the same thing on yours. And they now, in 5 or 10 minutes of scrolling and reading, can probably accomplish as much confidence building in themselves and in their decision to work with you as if they had taken time and made bunches of phone calls and had to leave voicemails and trying to reach people and let them get back to you. That's all great. And I absolutely offer the ability for anyone who has a follow-up question and wants to work with me one-on-one or in my mastermind, that is only through an application process. So I actually encourage you, if you wanted to reach out and speak to Henry, who used to be my client at Novartis, or speak to Beth Rush, one of the top Gallup strength coaches in the country, or speak to Debbie, who runs an entire mentoring program at William Patterson, and she hands me several students every single year, because I commit part of my tithing to making sure the next generation of leaders is equipped. And one of the things I do is make sure that my folks, my students, know how to rock their LinkedIn profile and know how to ask and receive these recommendations. Again, the credibility is there. If someone is already reaching out and complimenting you, please ask them to document it. Hit this button. It's right here on your profile. See that? Ask for recommendation. You hit the little pencil. If, let's say, somebody says something and you want it tweaked a little bit, because you have the responsibility and the opportunity to guide them. You have the opportunity to let them know what you're working on and who else you hope is going to be looking at your recommendation. So that being said, if there's anything that you want them to dial up, I would typically in the beginning when I send my recommendation say, I'm launching a new program, I'm doing a ton of career transformation, I'm helping successful professionals who are deciding if it's time to move up, move on, or move over in their career, even folks at Verizon and ADP, and a lot of the major companies who are super successful high achievers who suddenly are finding themselves needing to find a new or different job or different career path, some by choice and some by chance. So many of them are overwhelmed, confused. They were the primary breadwinner, and now their livelihood is facing a complete transformation, a shift. Maybe they're going to lose their job, or maybe they just know they deserve better. But can you speak to that point? Can you tell them something about how you were stuck or confused, or how your group in the speaking instance, how your group, what the goals of the group and the speaking leadership program were, for example, and how did we change the mindset and empower the people in the room? So if it's a speaking suggestion, a speaking recommendation, like Justin, for example, I would be asking in the context of what other groups are looking to hire amazing speakers. I'm sure there's lots of people out there trying to get speaking gigs, but what made you feel different? How did my box of rocks, right? Because I literally will take my box of rocks. This is part of my transformation story. And I bring this box of rocks with me on every speaking gig. And we pull them out. And then while we're doing the speaking gig, people are making their own rocks. These are rocks that some of my participants made for me in my workshops. So how does a box of rocks change people's lives? I might ask them to talk about that, because me and my box of rocks are 1,000% unique. So again, in the context of speaking, I ask for speaking recommendation. In the context of coaching, I ask for coaching. So what do you do? What are you looking to do? Are you looking for a better job in your organization, which I would say is moving up? If that's the case, what I would be having you do, and again, I'm just toggling through, there's so many here. What I would be having you do is to ask for testimonial on, have you delivered on time, ahead of schedule? Have you shaved years off of a major project? Have you saved, one of my clients is in compliance, and she's been in Marcom and compliance. She's got many, many, many years of institutional and industry experience in pharma. And so building a business case to create a center of excellence is part of what we're working on. So now when she's looking for recommendations, she should be asking vendors, vendor partners, because those are the people who can see how she performs against people across the country, across the world in her industry. What is she like? How is she moving the needle? How is she defending her company and proactively making a difference? How is she bringing new ideas to light? What is she doing in terms of delivery? So the vendors can be speaking to it. In terms of team, her company had a major announcement and layoffs coming in the next few years. So instead of hunkering down and hiding under the sand, she decided to empower her team and to give them some personal branding lessons and help them learn how to speak their truth and how to document their success, not just in terms of their tasks, but in terms of their leadership skills, their personal skills, their financial acumen, their corporate citizenship, their volunteering, their mentoring skills, their multilingual or multicultural contribution, any or all of the different facets of them, so that when they have to now tell their story, some of these people have been in their jobs for 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years. They are not looking to leave. They do not want to leave, and they have not had to look for a job in a very long time. So this person's ability to empower her team and to teach them how to have a better, bigger personal brand and tell their story is invaluable, because she's helping to deliver a career insurance policy. And so part of it is going to be teaching them how to ask for recommendations and how to give each other recommendations, because recommendations should be coming from, ready? Not just your supervisors, and as high up in your company and your industry as you can go. If you are a speaker and working on a panel, I would get my co-panelists to compliment on your contribution, your point of view, your perspective you were able to share, the spark you were able to cause, the momentum you were able to bring to a program. I would have your colleagues and coworkers comment on your ability to address many facets of your contribution. I'm going to show you a little tool that I have. This is part of my Rock Your Career transformation. Look at this sucker. This is a beautiful thing that I developed. In with my VIP coaching clients, I have them document. You can do this too. If you list your accomplishments right here in the form and when they happened, you can pay attention and make sure that you are checking off the box and that you understand what level of contribution, what area does it help product development or process or finances or PR and reputation management? This document is something that will allow folks to capture their genius and to document it over time. This document can be used forever, for the rest of your career, because you'll be able to pull from it. So now if I put my accomplishment and I said, you know, this one person, she saved $1.2 million, right, in, you know, XYZ project, right? So she types it in here. So she did that this year. It was, you know, let's say 2018. So it was part process, right? It was part financial. It was actually part leadership and team growth. And it was part strategy and planning. So now she knows that she can go to her team, the folks, her manager, supervisor, you know, the high ups, and her co-creators, and her reports. So she had direct and indirect reports, and she can get any of them to write a LinkedIn recommendation that can speak to this. And when she asks, she'll go to her LinkedIn profile and she'll be able to say, again, back here, ask for recommendation. Here's ones that I've given. I can revise, I can delete. But she'll be able to go in and ask for, who do I want to ask? I want to ask, oh gosh, I have to think of someone who hasn't done a recommendation yet. Let me think, who would I? Okay, so let's just say Susan Huffman. What's our relationship? We worked together, but we were in different companies. What was my position at the time? This, right? You need to document because we want these to be real. And instead of just hitting send, can you write me a recommendation? Perhaps this is the one where you say, reflecting on how I did X. Can you write me a recommendation reminding folks how we saved X number of dollars, or when we worked on this project, we were awarded XYZ. You would put the details in this request and then hit send, because then it will be in the context of exactly what you want to highlight going forward. Does that make sense? I hope that does. If you have a question, please, please, please ask away. That's what it's for. And now on the flip side, because I've had the question asked, how do I honor someone else who is doing a great job when I don't know exactly what to say? And so let me see. Here is, I'll give you a little kind of quick outline, secret formula. Let's see if I can get this in here. I don't know if it's going to do this. All right. I'm going to stop sharing for a second and I'm just going to speak to you. Okay, cool. So anyway, if you're looking to grow your recommendations or give a great recommendation on LinkedIn, here's a format that I really love. You would say to them, if you want them to ask you, you would say, I'm working toward blank, which was whatever your new career goal is. And my coach challenged me to get 10 new testimonials in the next 24 hours. And so can you please share a few sentences about how I've impacted your work or through our relationship? I'm going to actually copy this for you, right? I'm going to put it right in the chat. There you go. Watch that. And I'm going to hit return. Did it work? Let's see. All right. So I'm working toward blank, which is whatever your career goal is. My coach challenged me to get 10 updated testimonials in the next 24 hours. Can you please share a few sentences on how I've impacted you through our relationship? It'll help me when my new hiring manager can appreciate the best aspects of working with me. Or I'm being nominated for the blank, blank, blank leadership award, and I would appreciate, this would help me with my voting. Or I'm looking to change careers, and I did so much of this kind of work when we volunteered together. I'd like to add more of that experience to my background. Can you speak to that part of our relationship? Ask people to be specific on how they can help you and what parts you want to put forward. And at the same time, if you're going to give someone else a recommendation, you can do one of two ways. You can write a draft and just offer up the best conversation that you think, and then it'll say with a note, I'm happy to share this great recommendation of our work. I appreciate you. Please let me know if there's anything you'd like me to do differently, or what else you'd like me to say or edit. I'm more than happy to support you on your journey. You're amazing. Thank you so much. Go ahead and send it and offer to provide an edit or tweak if they need it for a specific reason. Or feel free to literally text them, message them, call them, pick up the phone, whatever you need to do, and just say, by the way, I think you're awesome. I'm proud of the work you just did with X. And I'd like to give you a LinkedIn recommendation. Is there anything in particular you would like me to mention that would help you? Ask them. People love when you ask them for help. And not for help for yourself, when you ask them for how you can help them. Because think about how many times somebody calls you to complain about something in your work life, right? We get the calls when things aren't great, but how many times do we get those shout outs when a surprise message will just show up, and you'll feel really, really, really good about that. So again, why to do recommendations? Because number one, it is the absolute fastest, best way for you to share your personal brand in someone else's words. Let other people do the complimenting and the speaking for you. It's brilliant. It's authentic. And here is a new trick I'm going to share with you. This is a really good one. Ready for this? Watch this sucker. We're going to close that. I'm going to share my screen one more time. Let's hope it works. And I'm going to show you on my LinkedIn. At the top, you can go to where it says My Network. And then you can go where it says Your Connections, See All. I've got almost 8,600 connections. And then you can go to where it says Manage Synced and Imported Contacts up here on the right. Sorry, let me just move that. And now it'll say on the right here, it says Export Contacts. And it'll tell you which things to export. And one of the things you can export as a separate document is your recommendations. Okay? So I suggest you at one point do the works and do it all. It'll take a while. But on a separate document, you can just request them to export your recommendations. So you'll go ahead and do that, and you will get a CSV file. And here's what will happen. I hope you can still see the screen. I now have 60-something recommendations, and I'm able to look at them. They're all typed out. And I can start to pay attention to some of the words and phrases that people use over and over and over again. So let me do this. So here, I'm going to make these a little bigger so you can read it, right? Tremendous enthusiasm. That comes up all the time, right? I'm creative. Knowledgeable expert, right? Definitely. Very driven, results oriented. So you'll start to see patterns. And when you start looking over and over, I know the word confidence pops up over and over. Self-motivated, energetic. The word energy shows up quite a lot. You'll start to be able to pay attention. The other thing that you can do with these is you can create buckets. So let's say I want to make speaker, right? And I can go in and somebody who has seen me, here's somebody that I was a speaker for, one of the senior vice presidents at Konica Minolta. So I'm going to take Kay's recommendation and I can move it under my speaker. Let's say I want to make coaching recommendations, right? Paul is a coaching person. So I'm going to take it out of there and I'm going to make a bucket for coaching. So you can really, really quickly organize all your recommendations. And then when you work with your web developer, you can take all the copy, you can shorten it. I definitely would just use clips, like excerpts from it. But you can do that and then turn around and use it on your website or on your landing pages. Let your raving fans do the bragging for you. So now I'm on my website, right? So here was Justin. You saw him on LinkedIn, and now I'm able to pull that and put it here. If I go to services, motivational speaker, just to give you a quick idea what you can do with them. So now I'm talking about it. See what Pat's audience members had to say. And I'm just showing you ways to use this, guys. I want you to do this with your stuff. So now if somebody's thinking, should I hire her as a speaker, just as an example, you can come here and see over and over and over and over and over and over and over why all these people now think it's great to hire me as a speaker. They all came through LinkedIn. Every single one of these are LinkedIn recommendations that we have now picked up from the document I just showed you and copied over so that once you read 5 or 6, then you might hit, okay, book Pat for your next event, right? Because you've got other people telling you the story. And here's how to reach me. If you were looking for coaching service, rock solid endorsements as a coach, right? And now you'll see Karen's video. You'll see Laura's testimonial and Henry and Stephanie and Paul and Beth. And then if you're thinking about hiring me for a coach, you're going to book a virtual coffee and apply. So we've gone from someone saying you did a great job. I've showed you how to ask them to give you something in writing. If you receive a compliment in a 360, in a performance review, in an email, don't hesitate to ask them to also share them on LinkedIn. And don't hesitate to put them in the accomplishments tab. If you're working with me, have this career transformation workbook, or you can make your own, but don't hesitate. Keep track of them over and over. It's really, really important because those are the kinds of things that you will have for the rest of your career. Recommendations need to be specific. They need to be thoughtful. They need to be authentic. They need to show the change from where you were to where you deserve to be, how you've changed someone, what you've done to impact them, right? So that someone new thinking about hiring you, thinking about working with you, can imagine how good they will feel having you in their corner, having you on their team. Lots of people have similar skills. We are all in a commodity business, but I promise you that the testimonials and the recommendations, and when they can just jump on LinkedIn, easy peasy, and look right there and have all your right in your profile. And that is what people do. When they meet you, they go to your LinkedIn profile. When they're looking you up to consider hiring you, they go. They look at your articles. They look at your comments. They look at your experience. I put recommendations sprinkled in the summary. I have them sprinkled in my job. This is my paid job, my Rock on Success. I have them in my SHRM speaker background. I have them in my golf volunteering background, so that everywhere you go, there's a way to understand what it would feel like. I want you to give people an easy peasy way for them to understand how you will help them rock their business and their life, because you will make their life better, not only by your skills, because many of us are good at our skills, but by who you are as a human, by how you roll, by how you show up in the world, by how you treat them, by how you make them feel. And those descriptions are the magic of recommendations. Those are the things that are really heartfelt, and let someone else tell the world how special you are in their heartfelt words. If you can accomplish that, I challenge you again, take the language that I shared with you before and go ahead and tell them, my coach challenged me to add 10 recommendations to my LinkedIn profile this week, and I would love for you to share your thoughts on what it's like to work with me. Go ahead and ask them, help them with little prompts. You want them to put it in their own words, but I promise you, when you start to get those recommendations back, it will change your whole day. And when you're the person who's gifting others with those recommendations, you will make their whole day so much better as well. So I am hoping that was helpful. If you have further questions, by all means, please feel free. Let me know how I can help you. If you are looking for assistance with your own career transformation, I highly recommend that you do the Rock Career Transformation Training, which will help you with your soul searching assessment. It'll help you with the blueprint for exactly what to do, moving up, moving on, and moving over in the next chapter of your career. God bless you. Thank you all for now. And again, Pat Roque, the Rockstar Transformation Coach, helping you rock your career and your life without selling your soul or losing your mind. Thank you so much for joining. God bless. Have a good night. Bye-bye.